Peace, everybody. This is Chi Vital, and I am back with some more tools for your toolkit to create your life. Welcome to the House of Chi. Shouts out to my fairy gang, HOC, DMV Meditation. Love all you guys. It's about time for me to begin touching on this subject of what I deem toxic femininity. Okay, let's see. 1 second. Let me make sure I'm all set here so we can get to chatting with one another. All right, let me see. What's up, Erica? How you doing, love? So, toxic femininity. A lot has been said during this push, this goddess movement, this toxic masculinity. A lot of attention has been put on, what's the responsibility for the men in showing up for us ladies, right? And a lot of things have rung true. But I want to take this time to really discuss what exactly is toxic femininity and how it is helping to create a society of angry women, because it does not help. It does not help us win. It doesn't. And what is quite interesting about the subject is that as women, and being so innately powerful, it is a very interesting thing for me to observe from a place of having done a lot of work on myself, of how less is more. Less is more. Less is more. I cannot stress the importance of knowing how less is more, especially when being a woman. Okay? I have been lovingly named King Chi, not because I act like a man, not because I proclaim to be a man, not because I claim to know all things male. No. I have been given the name King Chi, respectively, due to my mental acuity, my mental ability to observe certain things and understand as a strategist of how to move as a woman, and understand the basics of how men of power need to move in order to continue to be successful or to increase their success. So when you see Long Live the King or Shout Out to King Chi, I earned that. And I'll give you a little story about my journey with toxic femininity. First, I want to break down the word toxic, right? We know toxic as a word to mean something that's poisonous, it's injurious, don't eat it, it's bad for your skin, it's bad for the environment, kill, death, it's not good, it's bad, right? The root word of toxic is Greek, toxon, which means bow. Okay? Bow like bow and arrow. And then a substance was made called toxicon pharmacon. Okay? This is the poison that was supposed to be put on the tip of the arrow. So, of course, the bow and arrow shoots. It hits its target. And what do we have? We have a poisonous bow and arrow that's going to kill whatever it is shot at, right? So then we have that combined with femininity. And femininity is a social construct that enough people in society have agreed on is going to define the behaviors or customs or expectations on some level, right? For women, girls and women, whether it's the way they dress, the way they speak, their roles in relationships and family, how what roles they take even in the workplace, in the workforce. So we agree, okay? So we're gonna take these agreements that we have as a society for what defines a woman. Even outside of the heterosexual community, these certain behaviors or dress, makeup, activities that someone is into are defined. Like when someone decides that they want to use a feminine pronoun, they too show signs of accepting this same construct of what femininity is. Besides the outliers of a female construction worker, which is a possibility for her, it's still seen as not the norm. And when you look at the numbers of who actually has certain roles, it's still not a norm. So you want to look at numbers and remove our emotions from certain things, okay? It's like we can have female firefighters. There's still not the norm that you have a woman with an average female physique that wants to run into a burning building and carry 200 pounds of weight on her back up and down the flight of stairs and encounters possibly a man who's huge to her size and has to save him. Like, we have to think more realistically about how we are carrying this femininity as a torch to burn down these walls, okay? First of all, we have a lot of power. We don't have to ask anyone for our power. And most times in our relations with people, our behaviors are asking for validation. And it's the same validation seeking behavior that occurs with men who are being attacked for toxic masculinity. But I don't want to touch that yet. I want to talk about the beauty of being a woman. Okay? Let's look at nature. In nature, I know that a lot of times this is done, right? Hey, Twinner. In nature, we find that the most beautiful, let's just deal with birds, the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful birds, right? They are the male species. They are the male gender of the species of birds. And every time National Geographic goes and decides, oh, let's watch the birds, let's look at how they mate in their mating season, this, that, and the third. We see the same storyline over and over and over again, right? This man or this male does the absolute most to gain the favor and the attention of the female species by showing his ability to sing, which means he can either warn or protect her. He can communicate well, to dance, to move, right? Which, for whatever reason, is another form of communication, okay? And shows his strength. So he's going to outdance and outperform the other male competitors for her attention. The most powerful thing that she's holding is the ability, right? Yes, stamina, the strength, is her ability to continue his line. So in her sitting there, being juicy and full of life, in her stillness, which is yin, right? In her stillness, she does not have to do very much to gain what it is that she needs that will be necessary for her to nurture a feminine quality, right? To nurture, talking about agreed behaviors and attributes, nurture, mother, take care of in an emotional and sense, right? Creating a home. She doesn't have to do much to gain what she needs because she holds such a powerful seat of being able to grant and bring forth more life to this particular line. Now, let me fast forward this to our contemporary lifestyle and share with you um my own transformation, okay? You see me here. I have on lipstick, right? And my eyes are done. I spent most of my life wearing jeans like this, sweatsuits, sneakers. You may you may catch me wearing some heels because I have somewhere to go and I want to, in particular, I want to be in heels. But for the most part, I have always been a little more like tomboyish. I like to be in active gear. I want to move around. Right. I have not been really immersed in the beautiful things that women do to dress themselves up. Okay? I'm like late in the game. That's fine. But through that, I also have observed that I've been a high performer when it comes to workspace. I've been a high performer as a performing artist. So that's very competitive. In school, even when I hated it the most, I was a high performer. I did really well grade-wise. The other thing is, I never had an issue attracting to me a man. That was the first thing. So the first thing is that I see a lot of women like, why am I having such an issue attracting a man to just like come and talk to me? What's up with these guys and they just don't approach me? That part, I think, would be the easiest when you become just comfortable in your own skin and trust that options are going to come. Most women will tell you they agree because then the next issue is, well, why the hell am I attracting all these fools? Why is it the ones that I have my eye on, the ones who are well paid, they are confident, they're articulate, they have their stuff together. Why is it when I meet those guys, they are arrogant, they are dismissive, they don't take anyone seriously, they don't have any access to their emotions, they're cold, they're standoffish. And then we see those same men with women that I've witnessed for myself. Other women will talk down about them. Well, why is he with her? She's so simple. Why is he with her? All she does is like look good. So one thing we have to address is the toxic femininity of gossip. Okay? Gossip has been accepted as gossip has been accepted as a female attribute. When a guy talks a lot about other people behind their back, he will be talked about like, oh, you're acting like a female. Toxic femininity. That's one of the toxic behaviors that women have accepted to some degree when they participate. Okay? So that's one. Two, I'm going to share just a little game. For my very well prepared women who have worked their asses off to become the successful pioneers or leaders, forerunners of their careers, their businesses, and such in education and so forth. who are now in a position of looking for a mate to share this success with. Less is more. When I became of age and I was able to really date, I started to feel like I was dating men that I could take care of single-handedly, and then I started to feel tired. I felt like all of my ambition, all of my energy was not really being utilized to its max because I was steady in a space of mothering or taking care of a dude to some capacity rather than being taken somewhere higher. Okay? Here I am with my resources. I have these skills. I want to be a teammate. Take me higher. I want to be taken higher. If I speak for a lot of women, they'll say, yeah, when I meet a guy, I know that I've arrived to this certain point. I want to be taken higher. Like, I don't want to be in a position where a guy seeks me out because I have something for him. It would be nice to be added onto, right? But I look at some of the conversations, right? I decided to study what was it about these women who were totally like just far left into, I'm gonna just make sure that I only deal with men who can take care of me, who can pay the bills, who can set me up, introduce me to the right people, and otherwise he's not getting my time. All right? I had to go all the way to the other side because I was on the side of like, I don't need him to do none of that because I could do it for myself. I know how to speak for myself. I have great connections. This is what I can do. I know how to put money in the bank. I know how to stack my money. Like, I don't need any of that. That's weird. I have my own car. I have my own place. Totally was in that all the way, hands down. But I decided that if I was looking for something that was not necessarily bringing about what I all the way desired, I would need to study what I am not. Okay? And in order to study what I am not and actually gain a lot of information, I had to, one, make sure that I was free of any judgments on what was going on so that I can be at ease and receive what I needed to receive. And what I learned from these women was that their biggest asset was listening. Not how the gift of gab. It was listening. They listened. They got in front of whoever it was they wanted to attract. And they listened. They listened. They laughed. And they took note of what are the areas that they could potentially show up as an asset for this person in front of them. Because what happens is a guy is vying for the woman that he sees can add value to his vision while he can pour into her. But there has to be space for him to pour into her. A guy is looking for where can he pour into her. If she, on the flip side, which is what I also observed from my very talented, very blessed women who can do the most world changers, right? I watched my other sisters who were very bold and assertive in that degree shoot off the hip immediately about what they could do, who they knew, and every time the guy would be speaking, talking about his business or doing his dance, right? He's doing his dance, he's presenting his resume. He's like, I'm gonna buy you a drink. Would you like to do this? Pull your chair and trying now, right? He's already hooked, he's already attracted, he's already looking, trying now to assert himself a certain kind of way. Every time he would drop a resource that he had in order to give to her, she would try to match it. I don't know if it's intentional, right? But I do know that we have to pay attention. She would try to match it. Oh, I work in this executive office and I know such and such. Oh, really? Yes, I know such and such in this office. And actually, that is the person who introduced them to that. Let me tell you what I observed there. This is a competition in his mind. A man of power seeking to add value to a woman he sees already is powerful to him, right? Because you can feel it. A woman with power, just like a man with power, when you get around them, you can feel it. It's not something you can fake, right? When she starts to throw her cards on the table, immediately, he's like, okay, so if she knows everyone I know already, if she's already positioned herself in this space, how then can I create value for her? What am I doing here? I'm not here to compete with my lady. I want to partner with her or support her. And you're looking for it, right? But in toxic femininity, we think that because we can accomplish so much that we have to throw it on the table in order to prove something sometimes. Unknowingly. Because subconsciously, the fight was there all the time to prove oneself as equal or better than. And it happens so often. So that's one play at it, right? Here I am, doing well. Make sure you know how well I am. I have my own bank account. I got my own place. That's beautiful. He doesn't even need to know that, though. He doesn't. He doesn't need to know. You should listen. You should listen and then find out more about if this person truly has the things that you're looking for in your life to add value to you, because you're a woman and you want to receive. You want to be in your power, your stillness, your listening. Right? What's the other thing? Toxic femininity. If I get into a space where a man is supposed to behave a certain way respectfully, and I decide that I'm going to bear all that makes me woman in front of the man, and then hold him accountable for looking at me a certain kind of way, for showing attraction. Oh, that's inappropriate. Why would you be showing attraction? Now I feel disrespected. Well, this is a game then. This is a game to me that is very dangerous, because we're going to have so many confused minds to the point that we no longer can communicate or even admire the beauty that we bring into a room. Because the minds will be so perverted, that the glimpse upon a beautiful, adorned woman will become an attack. And when that continues to be seen as an attack, that energy will be retracted. When that energy is retracted, we're going to have women seeking further validation through other means that will not help us to move forward, and we continue to break down society. So why did I do this beginning lecture on what I see as toxic femininity? Is because we are powerful. We're not asking for power. We are powerful. And what really gives us access to that power is to address our own deep-seated desires to feel our power, and the behaviors that we've decided and agreed on as feminine, to understand how they show up. How do we show up? How are we showing up? And how is it received? So when I give out assignments to really dig and look at what the outcomes are, it's important to do that. Because if the outcomes are not matching what you desire, then there's still work to be done. And there's nothing wrong with work because we can do it. So, I hope that you were able to follow along and this made sense to you. And if you have any further questions or you want to attack my ass for saying some of the things that I've said, feel free to leave it in the comments. Let's talk. Peace, love, and bliss.